Yeah, it's funny. Like at that time, I was kind of drunk. So I woke up the next morning. I was like, did that call even happen? Like, was I dreaming or some shit? I knew people weren't prepared to learn the guitar. They weren't prepared to buy a guitar. So I was like, that's an easy way for me to stand out. And it really helped me stand out. You have to have multiple skill sets other than just making good music. Like good music is just not enough. I can't stress this enough. And yeah, just like in those 2.5 days, that was enough motivation for me to be like, fuck me. Like that's how shit my life could be if I don't lock in.
Dzisiaj będę rozmawiać z Wavim, czyli z certyfikowanym złotym producentem z Australii. Produkował on dla takich artystów jak NBA YoungBoy, Nicki Minaj, Doughboy oraz Real Boston Richie. Klasycznie porozmawiamy sobie o jego początkach z muzyką, o tym jak zdobywa swoje placementy. Dużo porozmawiamy też o zarabianiu z muzyki oraz o tym jak się z niej utrzymać. A sam Wavy podzieli się z nami wieloma bardzo przydatnymi radami. Także jeżeli jesteś producentem, który chce wziąć swoją karierę na serio, to gorąco zachęcam, żebyś obejrzał ten film do końca. A więc życzę miłego oglądania i już zaczynamy. What's going on, guys? Today I'm with Wavy.
What's good?
First of all, man, let me know how old are you and where you got the passion to music from? Like basically how your journey with music started.
Yeah, so I'm 21 now, and I guess the whole story started, I was like 3 or 4 years old and I started playing piano. After piano, I got into guitar, so I was a bit of a guitar nerd from the age of like 4 till 9. When I got a bit older, I wanted to be like a football player instead, so I kind of put music on the back. And then towards COVID, that was when I kind of realized I wasn't going to be a footballer, and I kind of channeled my energy back into music again. And that's when I like re-established my love for music, and that's kind of how it started. Got into production, and yeah, one thing led to another, and I guess we're here now. So
okay, cool. So going straight into the placements, I gotta ask you about probably the biggest placement you got, which is with the NBA YoungBoy and Nicki Minaj. What the fuck, right? So how did you get that placement? Because I saw your pictures with the guitar or something, like I think that might be something to come with this, like the loops, guitar loops, like you can touch on that as well. But when it comes to that placement, let us know, how did that happen?
that came from this starter that I made in 2022. So it was a guitar starter, and I was working closely with a loop maker called Benji. Benji and I were working really closely on these like soul guitar loops. It's funny, I sent him the starter and then I replied to the email again. I was like, actually, you know what, just ignore this, like it's ass, like it's not good. And he was like, wait a minute, I might have a small idea. So I was like, all right, do your thing. He ended up finishing the loop, and then that was actually the loop for the song, which is kind of funny. It came from a guitar starter. Something that I've noticed from personal experience is whenever I make a starter and I send it like only to one individual that I'm really locked in with, better results come than if I send it to like a list of like 300 people to a starter list. Like I've always noticed that when it's like a collab and both parties are sending it out, yeah, it just seems to perform better. So he pretty much sent it to his list, I sent it to my list, and then this producer called Yeti did the drums. I don't know if Yeti got the loop from me or from Benji. I remember I was out one night and I was drinking with my friends, and Yeti called me and he was like, bro, I just got a call, like we got a song on YoungBoy's upcoming album and it's gonna have like a music video and there's like 2 features on it. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. And it's funny, like at that time I was kind of drunk. So I woke up the next morning, I was like, did that call even happen? You know what I'm saying? I was like, was I dreaming or some shit? But then I checked my phone, like I was like, the call did happen. And then I was on the phone with my manager when the contract came through, and we went to the bottom because we thought there were 2 features, but there was only one. And we went to the bottom and there was like this random like name at the bottom, and he was like, who the fuck's that? So we looked up the name and then it was Nicki Minaj, and we're like, yo, that's crazy. So that's kind of the story behind how that happened.
Yeah, that's crazy. So the skill of playing the guitar was very beneficial for you, right?
100%, 110. Yeah, like I guess the thing is, especially at that time, there was a high demand for guitar stuff and not a lot of people were fulfilling the demand. Like not a lot of people could make guitar loops. Yeah, it's like if I had 7 out of 10 guitar loop ability, I was going to get more placements than the person who has a 10 out of 10 piano loop ability, just because there's less people doing what I'm doing and there's more demand for it. You know, it's like economics, it's like supply and demand. So I kind of just went straight for something that I knew people weren't prepared to learn the guitar. They weren't prepared to buy a guitar. So I was like, that's an easy way for me to stand out, and it really helped me stand out for sure.
So what would you say most of your placements come from? It's loops, the starters, like you said, beats as well?
99% of my placements have come from samples. Whether that was me that made the starter, whether that was another person that finished the starter, whether it was a solo loop, that kind of depends. But most of the time it's a collab loop that I did with another loop maker. Then we send it out to our networks, and that's how the placements happen. So that's like, yeah, the majority of how my placements have come about.
And what's your advice when it comes to like networking with those producers, those bigger producers, right? You were sending out stuff. And also what's your advice when it comes to sending out those starters? charters, those loops?
I guess like if we're talking about working with bigger producers, what I've noticed with bigger producers is a lot of them just aren't really like that open to having like a conversation. Like they're not really like the type to, I don't know, like get on Discord and cook up. Like I'm talking about like the top ones, right? So with that being said, you kind of have to just read the room and understand like, okay, these people are busy. What do they want? They want convenience and they want loops as often as possible. They want good loops as often as possible. So knowing that, it's kind of like, I will just like make a loop. If I hear them on it, I'll just text it to them. Like it's something as simple as that. Every now and then, if I make something really hard, I'll do like a caption under it. But I'm completely aware of the fact that I'm not going to expect responses from them, that there's not going to be a lot said, but it's just a matter of like continuing to send anyways. You know, I'll use an example, this Doughboy placement that I got recently, Kai Gone Crazy, he did the drums. I didn't even know that he like heard that loop. I didn't even like know that like the song came out. Like I actually found out from like some random guy. He's like, bro, isn't this your loop? I guess a lot of it is just kind of understanding who you're talking to. If there was a producer who was, you know, on like the same level as me in terms of placements, I would take a different approach. I would be on calls with them as much as possible. I would be talking to them about other stuff, like about life stuff, like whatever it might be. It just really depends on the individual. Like it kind of changes.
And I gotta ask you about what's the most important thing when it comes to like the loop itself? Like you got some placement with your loops. You also went gold some time ago with another NBA YoungBoy song. So you probably know your craft, right? So what would you say is the more important? So the producer that are listening right now can like take advice from it.
The best piece of advice I could give is you literally have like 0.5 to 1 seconds for the individual who's listening to choose whether to use it or not to use it. It has to be on point at the beginning. A lot of guys, what they do is they have it boring at the beginning and then the 8th bar, it's a switch up. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, dude. But like, do you think anyone's fucking bothered to listen to that point? No. Like it has to be like straight away. It has to be like literally, I've seen people in studio session click after 0.5 seconds, skip. It's instantaneous. So try and make like those first 1 to 2 seconds as good as possible. Like go the extra mile when it comes to the actual arrangement of the loop. People's attention spans are fucked. You don't have 6, 7, 8 seconds to be able to wait for the good part. I'll use an example. The slow down loop, that was a YoungBoy song that was on the Platinum album. That was like a really, I think when you press play, like it just sounds nice. Like there's a lot of things going on. You don't want it to be like there's too much stuff going on when you click play that people can't comprehend what's happening, but you don't want it to be like too boring. It's all about finding like the right balance. I guess it comes from like experience. And also when we're involved in like a project file, we get really used to what we're hearing and it's like our ears aren't noticing certain things. So sometimes it could be like take a 30-minute break, answer some DMs, come back to the loop, and then you make a realization about the loop that you didn't make before, and then you can adjust it accordingly. You know, so I guess that's kind of the piece of advice I'll give in regards to that.
Yeah, that's a valid advice, bro. And let's switch it up more into like you living from music, right? Because you're a full-time producer now, right? So what's your main source of income at this point?
It's a variety of different things. Like I have different income streams. It's funny, sometimes I talk to people and they're like, bro, how can I like get multiple income streams? And I'm not a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in like master one thing and then add things on top. So for me, the income streams that pay me the most money comes from placements, comes from beat sales. I also have my own like mentorship community. I have kit sales. You know, I've done kits with, I don't know if you know Baragini, but I did a kit with him. I guess like in regards to producing, that's how I make my money. And then I also do marketing work for other companies, like sort of on the side as well. So
would you say the producer stuff is the main one or the second marketing stuff?
The marketing stuff is like, I guess you could look at it as a bonus.
All right, cool. So you're more like an entrepreneur now, not only the producer, because of the couple of sources of income and all of the stuff. Would you say that?
Yeah, I definitely would. Like I would consider myself, I guess like an entrepreneur that makes music. And I think like I encourage people, you know, to be watching this to also sort of think the same way, because yeah, you have to wear like multiple different hats. You have to have multiple skill sets other than just making good music. Like good music is just not enough. I can't stress this enough. You can have 7 out of 10 music, but if you understand sales, you understand marketing, you understand personal brand, you understand how to make like viral content, all of this stuff, that's actually what's going to help you become a full-time producer. Because a full-time producer is you make enough money from producing a month to be able to sustain your lifestyle and not have to work a job. It's not about how many placements you get. It's not about how many views you get. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it comes down to like the money that you're making per month. When I started my personal brand, that helped me a lot because the money from placements is extremely inconsistent. I mean, I'll give you an example. Like I got that Doughboy placement like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And like one of them, like LeBron James was like talking on it, which is kind of funny.
Yeah. So
and I haven't heard from anyone, bro. Because like imagine if I was relying on that money to like pay rent, like I'd be fucked. So that's why, yeah, I think to add on to what you said, yeah, like you kind of have to be be an entrepreneur, in my opinion. It's kind of the way that I see it.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm heavy on this multiple streams of income and all of that stuff. I'm heavy on this one, and that's the advice I'm preaching as well. So when it comes to selling beats, not every producer is getting big placements. Not every producer has his own mentorship. Not every producer is selling sound kits, right? But most of the producers want to sell beats, or they already tried, right? So what would you say is your advice? Do you got any type beat channel, or what's your way basically, and what's your advice when it comes to selling beats?
My personal experience with type beat channels, I just don't really like it. You know, I'll explain why, right? Like I had this channel 2-3 years ago. Like I've tried all of that. I had this one video is on like 800K. I made less than 1K in sales. And when that happened, I was like, all right, like this is kind of bullshit. Like what the fuck's going on? So I've always been interested in like other ways of selling beats, and the way that I teach the people who join my mentorship program, which has been successful, is building like the one-on-one relationship with the artist. I'm talking getting on a call with them, right? I'm talking instead of selling them a $30 basic MP3 lease, like an entire package. For example, you mix the song for them, right? You make them a custom exclusive beat instead of some MP3 beat that everyone else gets to use. Something like this, like the reason why I believe in this a lot more is because I think that the way things are shifting, we're shifting more towards AI. We're shifting more towards being replaceable in terms of the music. So there's going to be an increased weight that's put on like personal one-to-one relationships. Like one-to-one relationships are going to become more valuable. That's what I'm trying to say. They're going to become more valuable. So knowing this, it's like, wouldn't it make sense to be building in the corner with this specific artist instead of just like being some faceless dude on YouTube? That's just kind of my opinion, right? Like I see some guys, it's like, yeah, my student, he blew up his YouTube channel and he got 100K views. I'm just like, who gives a fuck, bro? 100K views, that's $0, mate. I couldn't give less of a fuck about views. I want to see some fucking money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's valid as well. Yeah, I get that. So when it comes to still YouTube but not type beats, you got 2 channels, right? What's your advice when it comes to growing your YouTube channels as a music producer? Because you got both, like you got 2 channels. One is probably the music one more, and the second one is more like correlated to the probably selling beats and building your brand as a producer.
Yeah.
So what's your advice when it comes to growing the audience and growing those channels?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So that first channel you mentioned, I've actually like stopped posting there, and that's for good reason. The exact reason is because I posted way too many different styles of content, and I confused the fuck out of the YouTube algorithm, and my channel actually plateaued. Like the YouTube algorithm needs to know who to put your videos in front of. And I was posting day in the life, guitar tutorials, producer industry tips, networking tips, beat selling videos in the same channel, and it fucked that specific channel. So now what I have is I have an in real life channel, which is like studio vlogs, and then I also have my business channel, right? So these two, it's quite intentional. It's pretty much so YouTube isn't confused and they actually know who to show your videos to. So to answer your question, the first piece of advice is be extremely clear on the purpose of your channel and try not to bounce around with too many video ideas if you can help it. Like try and have like a main aim for the channel. I really wish someone told me this. I put a lot of time into that first YouTube channel and I was just getting shit views. I was like, what the fuck's going on? Like the videos weren't bad, but the algorithm was just confused, right? So that's the first thing I'd say. The second thing I'd say in regards to making a YouTube channel is have a very clear goal as to why you're doing it. Like, okay, let me ask you, like, why do you have a YouTube channel?
To help producers build my brand as well, to be more like recognizable or whatever, is that the word? To promote my sound kits as well, to show my skills kinda. Building the brand is probably the biggest one.
But why do you want to build your brand?
To monetize my work.
Make money, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're under arrest for wanting to make fucking money. Like, I'm with you, bro.
It's kind of like that, yeah.
But it's like, yeah, be very clear on your goal, because some people want to post their tutorials just to lock in with new producers to get more placements. Like they're not money driven, they're placement driven, right? And obviously money comes with placements, but yeah, just be very clear on what you're doing. Because if you're trying to monetize your YouTube channel, what does that lead you to doing? Okay, that means that for every single video, you want it to be, you're promoting some sort of product that people can actually go ahead and buy. If you're making a guitar tutorial, do you have some sort of guitar kit that you can plug? You know, you don't want to like hard sell in a distasteful way, but something where people, if they want more help, they can buy it, right? It's as simple as that. But if you're not really like clear as to the objective of the particular YouTube channel, I feel like it's going to be hard to sustain it, because I'm sure you would know, I've posted a lot of YouTube videos and they flopped, and I woke up and I was like, fuck's sakes, I just want to give up on YouTube. And you have to like really keep like the end goal in mind.
Yeah, so apart from this, let's say that was your mistake or whatever, but apart from that, what would you say was your like biggest mistake when it comes to your journey, or just the biggest lesson you learned?
Like just in general?
Yeah, in general.
Not changing the motivational drivers. Okay, so let me explain. For like over a year, my whole goal was I want to become a platinum producer. I want to produce on a platinum album. And when I actually achieved that, then I was like, now what? You know, like I had already achieved it. And my motivational driver didn't change. I didn't have a new clear goal. When we set out to achieve goals and then we actually achieve them, we have to have a new goal. If we don't have a new goal, we're just going to stagnate. We're just going to stay the same. So there was about a year and a year and a half where I wasn't really doing anything. Like I was going through the motions. I was like, yeah, it would be nice to get a placement with this guy. It would be nice to sell these beats, but there was no like true intention behind it. What it comes down to is being extremely clear as to what it is that's driving you to achieve that goal and to climb that new mountain. There's a book from someone called Rockefeller, and he was like one of the richest men in history, if not the richest. And he talked about success is like climbing a mountain. And on the success mountain, there's tiny little mountains that make up the mountain, right? And it's like, let's say we go from level 1 to level 2 as a producer. Once we get to the top of that level 2 mountain, there's a chill spot. There's like a summit, and that's where we can relax. That's where there's supplies. That's where there's food. And the thing is, we have to be very clear as to our reasons behind leaving the comfort of level 2 and then wanting to climb the next summit and then wanting to climb the next summit, right? And for me, I hit the platinum producer and then I was like, okay, like what's pushing me to get to the next level? And I didn't know for a long time. And I guess like, yeah, drivers come in different forms, right? You have like material drivers, for example. That might be you want to experience some sort of vacation that you can't currently afford comfortably. Maybe you want to buy a different car. You want to live in a different place. Maybe you want to buy a watch or something. So you got material stuff. Then you have internal drivers. So that's like living up to your full potential, proving to yourself that you can do it, things like this. You have your external drivers, which is maybe you want to prove someone wrong. Maybe you want to prove your ex-girlfriend wrong. Maybe you're in direct competition with another producer and you're like, this guy can get fucked. Let me like send him the fuck back to a 9 to 5. Then we have like client impact, family impact, society impact, right? So all of our drivers like fall into these particular boxes. And if we're not clear on our drivers, we're literally just going to stay at the summit and we're not going to climb up the mountain. That's pretty much the main point that I want to make. So the biggest mistake is not having a clear driver behind wanting to get to the next level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, I hope somebody gonna really take this to his heart or whatever. But you mentioned 9 to 5. I'm just curious, did you work a 9 to 5 ever in your life?
Yeah, so I was a cleaner at this hotel for 2 days, for 2.5 days. And halfway on the third day, I told the person, I was like, I got COVID and I just quit. That was one of the worst fucking jobs ever. So that was when I had just come out of school. And yeah, just like in those 2.5 days, that was enough motivation for me to be like, fuck me. Like that's how shit my life could be if I don't lock in. During that year, I worked on Mondays, like a warehouse job, like moving around boxes. I don't know if I'd count it like that. That's like once a week, but I didn't do that for that long. But yeah, since then I've been fortunate enough not to have to do that. But with that being said, like it's all about playing your role, playing your position. There's absolutely nothing wrong with working in 9 to 5. In my opinion, it's just like 9 to 5, you're doing so you can stack a bit of money, you can have a bit of comfort. But I think there is something wrong with working in 9 to 5 and like you want more, but your actions don't reflect that, right? You get home and then you scroll TikTok, watch Netflix and go to sleep. That's when I think it's kind of stupid, but there's nothing wrong with it. It's just about like, what are you going to do in that situation? You're going to be the type of guy that like says, I don't have time to produce, or you're going to be the guy that's like, how can I find the time to produce?
100%, yeah, but I think everyone gotta try it so they can taste it, right? So they can taste
Yeah,
that.
see how shit it is. I mean, yes, some jobs are worse than others, but that cleaning one was fucking terrible.
Yeah, okay. So let me know, what's your routine basically? How does your day look like on a daily basis? Do you got any cheat codes to be successful as a producer or whatever? Like, do you wake up at 5 a.m. or whatever? Like, what's your routine basically?
Something that I started doing recently is once it hits 8 p.m., I actually won't do any more work. And instead I'm like reflecting on the day that I've had. So I'll ask myself these questions. I'll ask myself like, what did I get right today? What did I miss? Why did I miss it? And what needs to change tomorrow? I ask myself these questions. And I think this is good because it holds you accountable and it makes you consider like, okay, how did this day actually go? Once I've done that, then I'll actually plan my day for tomorrow. My day starts like the night before. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. Plan the day for tomorrow, give myself daily tasks so that when I wake up, whenever I want to wake up, then it's like, I don't have to think about what I'm doing. I just like do it. I'm not one of those guys that's like, yeah, bro, you should only sleep 6 hours. I think that's stupid. I think it's just like, listen to your body. Me personally, whenever my body wants to wake up, that's when I wake up. I don't wake up to alarms. I hate that shit. I know some people do that. I cannot do that. I don't wake up 5 a.m. I don't fucking ice bath. I don't meditate. I don't give a fuck about that shit. I just wake up and start working, bro. And then when it hits 8 p.m., then I'll stop working. And then after 8 p.m., I'll reflect on the day. I'll also give myself time to learn something new and then go again. That's kind of that. I don't think there's a cheat code. I don't think there's a secret to success. I think a lot of it is just like, I know, enjoying what you do. Like I wake up and I'm like genuinely excited for the day. Like I see this whole thing as like a game. You know, it's like playing the game. I think it's fun. I'd rather do what I've done today than like go to some spa or some shit and like have fun. This is my definition of fun, bro.
Yeah, I completely understand, man. So you're keeping yourself accountable, which which is of course very important, and not a lot of producers understand that. They treat it like a side hobby or some shit. They trying to make a living from it. Like, it's not kind of possible. Like, you gotta have some kind of schedule or whatever. Like, you gotta really treat it as a serious like business or job or whatever. You cannot just like, you probably get it 100%.
Yeah, if you want to treat it like a side hustle, you're just gonna get side hustle results. You know, you got to be all in.
Yeah, fact. So I gotta ask you about the traveling, because before we started talking, you told me you wanted to go to Dubai or whatever. You're in Thailand right now. So tell us more about this lifestyle thing, like, which is moving out to different countries and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just like a massive believer in being in an environment that pushes you to get to the next level. I spent a month in LA and I spent like 2 weeks in Miami a few months ago. And like, especially when I arrived in Miami, I was like, holy fuck. Like, I was like a kid in a candy shop, because there's just supercars everywhere. They're being driven by like 18 to 20-year-olds. I'm seeing these like real money, you know? And it's in like such a concentrated, like, there's a place called Brickell, which is like a suburb in Miami. And it's like the concentration of wealth is crazy. And seeing this, it does something to you. It's like the whole time you're getting flexed on. The whole time you feel like a fucking brokey, you know?
Yeah.
It's great. I love it because it changes the way you fucking think. Like, I was with my business partner, we'd be on the balcony working till like 3, 4 a.m. just randomly. I never stay up that late, but it's just like the energy of the place, right? Like, the speed at which things happen at that place is insane. Miami is the type of place where you could be out for dinner, you run into someone that you know, and it's like the next day you're doing business with them. You know, like, everyone's in the same bubble, everyone's doing like a similar thing, they're making online money. And I love that. I love an environment where like it feels like you're in the game. And if I compare that to my hometown in Sydney, Sydney's slow, right? Everyone in Sydney is like, oh, it'll be fine. You know, like, there's just like no ambition, bro. It's like 10:30 a.m. and they're fucking waking up. And it's like, cool, you can do that, but I don't want to be I want to be in a place where it's like, I feel like a small fry, and where I'm like being pushed to get to another level, and it's like high intensity. There's certain things that happen to your mind when you see a particular environment, or when you see all of these like cars or these houses or these boats, etc. To answer your question, the reason why I am traveling and like why I plan on going to Dubai is purely for what I've said. It's just to be in an environment where it's competitive, because sometimes people think, oh yeah, like I'm doing really well for myself. I mean, yeah, this is what I used to say. Like, I was the most successful person in my friendship group. That's one of the worst positions you could be in. It's like, what, you're successful amongst like your friends from high school? Who gives a fuck? Can you even afford to like live in Dubai for a month? Like, I don't know. At the time, I couldn't. So it's like, I have this delusion that I'm successful. I'm not fucking successful. Let's say that you're in a house full of people who are making like 100K a month. It's only a matter of time before you get there, because you're going to adopt the habits, you're going to adopt the mindsets, you're going to adopt the systems of these people who are already there. It rubs off on you. So I'd rather place myself in some sort of city that really just pushes me to another level. And like, Dubai is quite similar to Miami in regards to that.
Yeah, bro, I 100% understand. So going back into the placement stuff, right? Like, a couple minutes before you mentioned the manager, can you tell us like what's the role of your manager at this point? What's the moment when somebody should get a manager and all of that stuff?
So the role of my manager, he mostly just handles like the business side of things, which is getting me paid. He helps me collect royalties, etc. He provides me with opportunities as well. Yeah, I guess if someone's watching this and you're like, oh, I need to get a manager, it's like, focus on getting placements first is my advice. Sometimes I hear people, it's like, oh, well, what if I get a major placement and then like, there's no lawyer for me? And it's like, dude, just focus on getting the major placement. It's like saying like, oh, what if I go to the gym and I accidentally get too ripped? It's like, come on, bro. Me personally, my manager just found me after I got my first major placement. Yeah, he just hit me up and we just started like working together. So that's kind of the role of him. It's good. Like, he just takes 20% when he gets me paid, and it's worth it because it frees up my time, allows me to do other stuff. I don't have time to be emailing a label. Like, I could if my life depends on it, but like, I'd rather just not do it.
For sure. And what would you say like is the best way to, let's say some producer just made like $1,000 off his crap or whatever. What would you say is the best way to invest that to like maybe get better or whatever, like when it comes to being a producer, to like level up your career or whatever? What would you say?
What they make the $1,000 from, and what's their goal?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So just they made from music, right? But would you say that it depends, like what's their path, right?
Yeah. It depends what they want, but like the first thing that comes to mind is like investing in some sort of like mentorship or community, just because, as we were talking about the environment point before. I mean, yeah, like you have in real life environment, but you have social media environment as well. So people join my Chart Chasers program and they think that they're doing amazing. And then it's like, there's some guy out there doing like 10 times better than them. Like, we had some guy join and he sold a 28K beat deal, bro. and he sold something for 2.3K a month recurring. Being in an environment like that, like what's that going to do? Like what's that going to do for you? You feel like that's going to help you? You know, do you feel like you could maybe learn something from them? The reason why I speak about mentorships and community, it's not to plug, well, I guess I am plugging my own one slightly right now,
Yeah, no
but it's
worries.
more so I've invested a lot of money myself into this exact thing. I would be a hypocrite to be sitting here and saying, yeah, you should get a mentor, but I've spent no money on a mentor. That's something that I've done and I've seen the value in it. I've been able to like have conversations with millionaires and learn like crazy game, completely change my mindset. And I think that's what I would do in that particular situation.
Okay, cool. That's the last question, right? What would you say is your like last advice for producers who are struggling to make it, who are struggling to level up, to build their brand and all of that stuff, to maybe, like we said before, go full time, but in general, right? What would you say is the, maybe you notice something and you're trying to say it, like, let us know.
It depends on what they're struggling with, but a question I think they should ask themselves is like, why are you struggling, right? Let's say you're trying to get beat sales and you're not closing the sales. Why aren't you closing the sales? Figure out what's going wrong. Is it that the first message you send isn't getting responses? Is it that on the sales calls, you don't know what to say? Is it that they don't show up to the calls, right? If you're not getting placements, why aren't you getting placements? Is it that your loops aren't good enough? Is it that you're shit at networking? Is it that you're just like not a likable person? I don't know, right? But it's like, ask yourself like, why am I not achieving XYZ result? Find like the specific bottleneck. Maybe someone's excellent at building a relationship with the artist and getting them on a call and closing the sale, but they just don't know how to find the artist. That's their bottleneck. It's all about finding the bottleneck and just fixing it. For anyone that's struggling, just like trying to figure out why are you struggling. I think even that question kind of leads to the answers, hopefully. That's kind of my final piece of advice, bro. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. So appreciate you pulling up today, some gems for the Polish community of producers. So appreciate you, man. And that was Wavy with me today.
I appreciate it, bro.